We are still on the Oregon coast. Every one of these towns has one store. Oregon giveth and Oregon taketh away.
We moved the store 2.5, 3 years ago?
3.5.
3 in a couple of months.
August, September.
We don't have to be that specific. Jill here's my navigator on this one, and she almost missed this store. And that's how you know it's gonna be a good one. Well, I take back everything I said. We should have skipped that one. We are starting this bourbon hunt out just a little bit different than normal. Crazy ocean out here today. We came in the dark, couldn't see all of this, but we are still on the Oregon coast. We've only got about 2 hours to drive, thankfully today, because nothing around here opens till 11 o'clock. Gave us a little time this morning to explore, see some of the local sites, and hopefully we'll continue our luck. Did really good in the last hunt here, which is yesterday for me, last week for y'all. I got that Russell 70th and that Rock Hill Farms and a couple of local things. So hope to continue that luck as we move through the coast here. We may head a little south of here and then turn around and come back up this way. Because like I said, we've only got about 2 hours to head north here. We have stopped in Depoe Bay here. There is a liquor store here, about 15 minutes south. There's a liquor store too. We'll hit those up, continue our trek up the coast. And our first stop of the day is the Newport liquor store in Newport, Oregon. It just says liquor, wine, beer, growler feel. Hey, let's not worry about names. Pretty solid selection here. Poor Kate. Poor old Kate. Pendleton Bourbon. 10 years old. I don't know if I've seen that before. MGP. Beautiful bottle though. Really like all the details. We're working 10 year. Oh, got a Rebel barrel pick I breezed right by here. All right, struck out on our first one, but always the next door.
Buying whiskey online is becoming a lot more common these days, which is great for people like you or me trying to score some new bottles. But as you shop online, especially if you end up in one of those nefarious sites that's advertising on social media, your data may end up in the hands of data brokers. Data brokers buy and sell your private information, which could lead to identity theft or stalking. And that's why I started using Delete Me, the sponsor of this video. Every time you snag a new bottle from an online retailer, join a whiskey club, or post your latest haul online, your personal information could be exposed. Your address, phone number, and even your family's details could end up on data broker sites. For those of us who take pride in our selections, the last thing we want is to be vulnerable to digital threats. And Delete Me helps us protect our information. Delete Me's privacy experts scan hundreds of data broker websites to find and remove your personal information. And they don't just do it once. They'll monitor and remove it all year long. After I signed up, I got my first privacy report within a week. Seeing how much of my data had been exposed and then removed gave me real peace of mind. It's like having a security guard for your personal info. We do our best to keep our bottles safe, and you should do the same with your data. Head over to joindeleteme.com/Brewzle and use my code Brewzle at checkout for 20% off. That's joindeleteme.com/Brewzle with code Brewzle. Trust me, it's worth it to keep your personal data safe. Now let's get back to that video.
You know, these bourbon hunting road trips are pretty grueling. I don't think people realize, even the team doesn't realize how hard these are. Lots of times it's just, 7-8 hours in a car, different hotel or different Airbnb every night. You pack up everything, then load up the truck and you go to the next place and unpack it all. Like it can wear on you, especially when we're doing these 2, 3, 4 week road trips. But man, do they have their perks. Getting to see this country, being able to go places I've never even known existed. I mean, this is the Devil's Punchbowl behind us, which is like a big hole in the ground. Apparently some things will spray up and stuff every once in a while when a wave hits it. But to be able to bring the family to see things like this, at the right time in their lives where, I think this will be pretty impactful and memorable for them. Appreciate y'all watching these, really do. It means a lot. Let's get back to that bourbon hunting. Let's get back somewhere less windy so I can put my hat back on. And now we're up the coast a little ways in Depoe Bay, and we are in Depoe Bay liquor store. It's the liquor store in Depoe. It's literally the only liquor store in Depoe Bay. Every one of these towns has one store. Not enough room for 2 of them. Single barrel rye up there. E.H. Taylor rye up there. Oh, I've got a little YouTube channel where we just do bourbon hunts. So I'm just going up and down the coast looking at bourbon.
Okay then.
No more bourbon on this side.
No more bourbon over there?
It's all on that.
I understand. Distilled, matured, and bottled by them in Dayton, Oregon. Doesn't say how long this has been aged, but at least they distill it. So, what you looking for?
Yeah. Oh, the Knob Creek bourbon.
Oh yeah, Knob Creek. That's 9 single barrel, 120 proof, 9-year-old Knob Creek. Pretty good stuff.
You tried that one before, huh?
Yes, yes. I've tried most of these, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Don't say that.
I guess it depends on how you look at it, right? That's why typically, I mean, I'm from Alabama, so most of this Kentucky stuff we see everywhere. So typically when I'm here, I'm either looking for the really hard to find stuff or I'm looking for something local like these here that I can't get back home. Like this one right here, Branch Point, says on the back that they actually distilled, matured, and bottled it themselves. So we would buy this one over that one just because of that fact.
Well, you know, you wonder where they source their water from. If they're calling it bourbon, if it's really bourbon, it needs to have that limestone effect that
Let's be nice. Let's be nice.
Not necessarily.
I think in order to legally call it bourbon, it's supposed to have that, isn't it? I mean, that's what makes it different.
To be called bourbon, it has to be made in the United States. It has to be 51% corn on the mash bill. There are a few other, like it has to be aged in a new charred oak container, not necessarily barrel, but container. And I think the rest of it has to be cereal grains of some sorts. Nothing to do with the water. Now, a lot of folks that are watching right now are going to say it has to be made in Kentucky to be true bourbon. Not true. Now, the best bourbon is typically made in Kentucky, but not because that's the only place to make it. It's just because they've been doing it for hundreds of years and everybody else is just getting started.
Right.
And it takes generations to really figure out how to make great bourbon. But you use pretty much any water. I mean, you use ocean water, you can use mud hole water, like whatever. You can take it right out of the toilet and make it still be called bourbon. Nobody should be drinking it, but the water can come from anywhere. Now, back in the day when they were doing sour mash, limestone takes out a lot of the iron. And if you have iron in your water, your whiskey's gonna turn black. Somebody was explaining to me once that's much more sciencey than I am, something about the pH and how it really helps the enzymes and things. Right. So Kentucky was a great place when we didn't have the science to fix water. You could just pull it out of the ground and use it.
Right.
But these days, most distilleries, even a lot of the ones in Kentucky, are using reverse osmosis filtered water. Wow. Well, it was nice meeting y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
We got this guy. This Branch Point. It looks, I mean, it's got a little color to it. I'm afraid it might be a little young, but they distilled it. We're gonna give it a try. All right, time to head on to the next store. Jill here's my navigator on this one, and she almost missed this store. And so I think this is gonna be a good one. That's how you know it's gonna be a good one. It's when you almost just ruined it, soiled it, went right on by it. But this one is Liquor Outlet in whatever the heck the next town is up. Whoop, I take back everything I said. We should have skipped that one. They don't allow filming in the store. But wasn't really anything worth buying anyway, so we didn't miss out. On to the next one. Apparently we're on the struggle bus today because Jill almost skipped this one too. For some reason or another, she didn't want to go to these stores, but now I don't have very high expectations based on the last one. But we are now in Tillamook. Heard of Tillamook? Isn't that like a creamer, like some butter or something comes from Tillamook? Let's see what kind of liquor comes from Tillamook. Alpine, Park City, Utah. Single malt. You looking for Blanton's?
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of it around here?
Well, no.
I've got a YouTube channel where we just do bourbon hunts.
Yeah.
So we were just driving up the coast, kind of documenting the scene, what whiskey's like around here.
Yeah, Tuesday is our day to come hunt.
Tuesday's when it does it get delayed a day because of the holiday yesterday, maybe?
Yep, but it didn't here. Up the coast, I want to say there's 4 or 5 liquor stores up the road.
That's where I'm headed north.
So Garibaldi, the food basket's where you're going next.
Okay.
And they have, I just called him and talked to him. They have Michter's.
Michter's.
Some weird one on that. But 6 miles after that is on the rocks in Rockaway.
Okay.
I think I just asked.
And then there's one in Wheeler. And then there's one at the Whole Foods store in Manzanita. It's right on the highway. So, and they're all usually pretty good.
We haven't much luck today. See, I did good yesterday. Oregon was good to us today. A little tougher sledding, but we'll keep looking. Sometimes that's what the hunt's all about. All right, I put it in the food basket, and it took me to Garibaldi's Bay Market, East Produce Deli. But see the sign there? It says they have a liquor store. Maybe we get a rare Michter's. I don't know. Probably already sold. Give a decent view. Again, Buffalo Trace everywhere. Some folks still seem to have trouble finding it. Yeah, looks like pretty much the same stuff we found everywhere. Some of the nearest Ghost Owl Canadian whiskey. Widow Jane Decadence. I just don't know if I can get on board with maple syrup finished whiskey. $99.95 on a Booker's. Some days it's just not meant to be, man. Some days it just doesn't go your way. But they may have got a Michter's in. They may have been gone. Honestly, a lot of folks around here seem to be into the like serious tater bottles, your Blantons and stuff like that. I don't know how many folks are hunting here on the regular for the semi-rare stuff. But also that could be office whiskey. That could be like that dude called, he knew somebody, they held it in the back, or they tell him what they got in the back. Well, we keep going. We're gonna see this might be the most number of liquor stores I've gone into in a hunt video with the worst results. Hopefully not. Hopefully it'll pick up. You know, the next store is just right around the corner. Not literally. Everything's really far away. Oregon giveth and Oregon taketh away. Yesterday, kind of interesting. Lots of fun conversations. Found some bottles of whiskey. Today, just cold and rain and wind and nobody to really even talk to. So what I'm hoping at this point is that the stores we're about to go to are fantastic and we just start the video here. Like if you're just jumping right into the video here, no, it has been a very long day. I'm trying to think of the worst liquor hunt I've had. 5 stores in, can't think of one. So we are now right up the road here on the Rocks. We're gonna check it out. It looks like a super small store. See if we can find some stuff. I've got a YouTube channel where we just do bourbon hunts. So we just headed up the coast, just looking for whiskey and talking to folks about what's the scene. You got some whiskey here? I see a Booker sitting right there already.
This is what we got today.
Okay, got the Bookers in today.
And I still have Whistle Pig 12. But the last 2 weeks I've gotten a large portion of the good stuff of my order canceled.
So you get allocated stuff and then it just doesn't come in?
I do get allocated stuff, but you know, if you're familiar with Oregon, you know you can only get 3 per store, no matter how big or small you are.
Okay. No, I didn't realize that.
Oh,
so everybody
okay.
gets allocated the same.
Down here, for the last 2 weeks, my allocations have been not filled because they don't have enough employees to fill the orders.
Wow.
So I thought I was kind of hoping to get double this week, and I got my stuff canceled again. However, I believe I have a Henry McKenna.
Okay.
The Bookers did come because it came in a full case of 6. Whistle Pig, and possibly Weller Reserve.
You got the special reserve Weller, the green label?
The green
so
label.
Thing you got? Okay. Some Redbreast 12 up there. Kind of interesting, like every little town has one liquor store. All the way up the coast. Do what? You find something?
I found
you got a Blanton's.
a
That's
Last
awesome. I'll leave that for somebody else, but yeah.
That's why I have one,
Yeah.
because everybody's been doing that to me for the last, I don't know, couple weeks.
I mean, if you really want to sell it, I'll take it, but I figure somebody would really enjoy that. I've got plenty of.
We're the liquor agent.
Okay, I'll take the Blantons then.
You don't got it.
No, I mean, I'm down with it. I know a lot of people hunt for those, and I don't want to take it from somebody when I got a couple at home
You're
already.
gonna go that far. This is the newer Bookers. This is the 24.
I know.
Okay.
I just don't buy every batch of Bookers, and I've got a couple at home
what
already.
I'm told is this is the better Bookers.
That's the best one.
I just found that out like the last couple days.
Okay.
I didn't even know I was getting it.
You didn't know you're getting. This is the best one
I just
this
got
year.
my freight today.
I tell you what, I'll take the Bookers too. You talked me into it. You sold it to me. You see how you said it was the best one.
I'll
take
you
it.
what I've been told. I'm
Okay.
not telling you anything else for you, my dear.
I don't think so. I mean, unless there's something else. I haven't even looked over here at the
Have you ever
The whiskey.
seen the Duck Holiday?
Yes, World Whiskey Society, I think,
Okay.
put that one out. I haven't bought one yet, but I appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We didn't want a Blanton's, but we got one. And somebody will always want this thing. Like I said, Jill gives them away to friends and family. Anyway, y'all know. Bookers, I've been looking at this one for 2 or 3 days. I don't buy all the batches of Bookers. I do like Bookers. I just don't buy all the batches. But I don't think I have a batch in the last 2 years, so it's probably time to pick one up anyway. So got that one. Can't beat the price. Hey, it's picking up already. At least able to have some conversations. Grabbed a couple of more bottles for the hunt. Maybe this is the spark we need to pick this bourbon hunt up. Let's go. This looks like a little higher end store here with Cannon Beach liquor. A little bit off the beaten path. We coming up 101. This is really the first one we have to turn off and go off of 101 a little ways, but looks like a really cool store. Let's go check it out. How's it going? Just doing a little bourbon hunting. Got a YouTube channel where we just hunt for whiskey.
Well, welcome.
This one looks like a cool store.
We have not had a repack delivery for 3 weeks from the OLCC because they don't have the labor on the weekends to pack the loads and to provide repacks, which means all of the allocated stuff you have to buy by the full case if they allow you to, but they generally don't.
You have to order it by the case, but then they generally don't let you, so they have to break it all down, but they don't have the people to do that.
Right.
Okay, well that makes sense.
And if you're looking for things like whiskeys, we also have
Got some stuff back there, okay.
we also have we just don't have enough space. We moved the store 2.5, 3 years ago now?
3.5.
3 and a couple of months ago,
half.
because it was the 4th of July.
August, September, October, November, December. Okay.
We don't have to be that specific.
We have some stuff up here too. And
Okay.
around the cigar box stuff down the hallway.
Yes. Just about every store we've hit up and down the coast here has exactly the same stuff, so it's good to see a little bit bigger selection, so I'll have to check it out. Got some Sinatra sitting over here. Do my best to show the selection. Of course, Buffalo Trace everywhere here. Starting to get north, seeing the Woodinville. We bought the 8-year Woodinville in the last hunt. Seeing more of this Trails End stuff. It's a 10-year bourbon, but again, sourced whiskey, I believe. Oregon Spirit single barrel bottle and bond. 4 years old, distilled in small batches. Distilled from grain, but distilled by who? Distilled and bottled by Oregon Spirit Distillery. Cool. What is this one? Straight bourbon. Did we buy some of their stuff already? See, that's the problem with bourbon hunt after bourbon hunt after bourbon hunt. I forgot what I've already bought. Oh, this one's bonded, so it's a little higher proof, and it does have a 4-year age statement on it. I think we'll go with that. Pretty sure I didn't buy anything in a box. We did get these Steins right here. I know we bought those. Looking for a cash strength from them though, haven't seen that. East Side, Burnside.
Any specific only to American whiskeys?
Bourbon's pretty much my jam. I get outside of bourbons and I don't know what I'm talking about. So I just try to stick to that. What do you know about Oregon Spirit?
I think that they are all uniformly good. I see batch variations that I don't see, for example, with Jim Beam. They've been doing it for hundreds of years.
Right.
Oregon's not been doing it nearly that long.
Well, the Jim Beam's going to be batching hundreds of barrels. They're probably going to be batching a few.
The ones that I like the best are Bull Run,
Okay.
broken top.
So Bull Run's their single malt here.
Bull Run,
Okay.
and then that's a steal. $50 for a 15-year-old.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
It's
Finished
nuts.
in Pinot.
Pinot casks, right?
Okay.
And this maple is still, I think it's, if it's not over, it's still 108 proof for a Vermont maple.
Yeah.
Great and remarkably smooth. Oregon Spirit is good.
I grabbed this 4-year single barrel right
Yeah.
here. I haven't-
And we've got, I think, a 4-year rye and a 4-year wheat over on the other side,
Okay.
in the same style of
I'll have to
packaging.
check that out.
The flavor profiles of these are great.
Yeah, those are all single malts.
They're all single malts, but the finishing gives it a little something. I really like the Ransom products.
Okay.
They make everything from old Tom style gins through whiskeys. This is their first attempt at a bourbon, but they even go as far as making a Irish.
So they distilled this themselves?
Yep.
Okay, it's blended. It's distilled in Oregon and Indiana. So this is a blend of probably MGP and maybe their own distillate. Some 1792 single barrel down there. I don't know if I've seen any of those today.
Again, that's one of those things that they let you buy 3 at a time.
Right.
Let you order 3 at a time. We don't buy it until the customer pays for it, which is typically the way state stores run.
So you don't have to pay for the whiskey until the customer buys it from you?
No,
So all of this is basically on consignment?
pretty much.
Interesting. I didn't realize that.
It's really a great program for the state. They don't buy it either until it's sold at this level. And then all the proceeds from the distilled spirits goes into the state account, for which 26 days after the end of the month, they return a portion to the liquor store operator. And they give licensees, bars and restaurants, a 5% discount. So I make less off of what they purchase from me than I do from the general customer who comes through the door.
But theoretically, they buy more.
Theoretically, they keep me in business through the winter.
Yeah, makes sense. Some more over here. I.W. Harper. Roger Craig Toasted. Ooh, Peerless. First time I've seen Peerless out here, I believe. Baker 7. Always check the dates. 7 year, 5 months on those. Frey's one of my faves. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you. Clyde Mays, 10 year right there. Little Alabama style bourbon.
You have a good one.
You too. Now, as always, we are going to try this on the next live stream. I'm going to pop up a link right here that links you to that live stream. Go over there, click to, set a reminder, and you can find out when it'll notify you, and then you'll know, and we'll try this on the live stream. I think we're going to call it here. There's a cool little brewery right there. We're going to go over there, have a little dinner, and get to our room, which is still a little ways up the coast. Appreciate y'all watching all the way to the end. This one was tough. Like, this was some work. Didn't find quite as much stuff as we would have liked. I mean, we did buy an OG Tater bottle and some local stuff. And so that was a successful bourbon hunt, even though it took a little more effort than we usually have to put in. Because y'all don't realize, I guess, every one of these stores is like 20 to 45 minutes apart, which makes for a very, very long day to try to hit this spinning. And I think the thought here with Oregon is, these small towns especially, is that if you want a Blanton's or an Eagle Rare or Weller Special Reserve, maybe something a little in that Buffalo Trace, attainable but not always available range, you could do it. Like, they've spread it out. They've got their system that, is probably about as fair as any system out there, but also takes a lot of the sport out of it. And so that sucks a little bit if you're into the sport of bourbon hunting, but if you're just into drinking, it's probably good for you. Sounds like if it's rarer than that, though, it's really, really tough sledding. I do think some of the bigger stores, though, you could build relationships with. The store we got the Rock Hill Farms from, those that, have whiskey in the back, you could probably, that hold it back a little bit for their more loyal customers. Those bigger stores, you could probably build some relationships with, find some nice stuff. So had a good time here hunting the last 2 days in Oregon. Got some nice bottles of whiskey. Can't wait to try, especially some of these smaller distilleries Appreciate y'all watching all the way to the end. We'll see y'all in the next one, which, if nothing jumps in, it's going to be Washington.
Thanks again for deleting me, for sponsoring this video, and helping me safeguard my privacy. If you're passionate about bourbon and want to keep your personal data private, click the link in the description to get 20% off your subscription today.